Hey everyone, hope you're all well. Thanks for coming tonight. I just wanted to sort of start off by just talking about very quickly about the importance of mentoring. I wouldn't have a career if it wasn't for the mentors that I've had in my life, and they gave me time and space to tell the stories that I wanted to tell, and that's kind of the thing that I wanted to bring into my relationship with my mentee. And one of the things that we've been working a lot on is actually a little bit out of my comfort zone, because my mentee Veronica is a huge fan of horror, and it's not something that I have ever tried writing before, but those were the stories that she wanted to tell, and my job was to basically facilitate that. So we're going to get off to quite a spooky start with Veronica's story. So I'm just going to throw to her now, and please welcome Veronica. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Veronica. I would like to read two sections of my short story to you. First section, how about we play a little game? The voice is rough and scratchy from underuse, and the words are echoing inside her head, louder than the first time she had heard them. They are taunting her frantic mind with how much hope she had felt at the time. The way she had put her trust in a stranger, only reflecting her young age. Alexis was completely oblivious to what was to come. Her breathing hitched with panic, and her trembling legs stuttered from the fastened pace. Arms are swinging wildly back and forth, desperate attempt to speed up her run. Her heartbeat is beating in her ears, almost blocking out the sound of her own heavy breathing and echoing footsteps in the woods around her. Tears gather in her eyes, which she quickly wiped away. She had to keep her eyes wide open, ears sharpened at any other noise. The actual thoughts of looking out were more of a distraction than the physical action of looking out. The deep thoughts clouding her reality. But she couldn't help the daydreaming of being back home. The dream to take a bath and sit with her husband after dinner. Anything would be better than feeling the dirt on her bare skin of her legs. Her everyday routine of watching crappy TV and arguing over who's better on X Factor flashes in her mind, and she prays to run faster, to reach the end of the woods before he can catch her. Alexis allows herself to take in a breath, clear her mind just a bit before having a complete breakdown. She starts to hum a catchy little tune, her mind working unconsciously to fill in the silence. It's almost vibrating throughout the forest in waves, a repetition of the same 5 notes over and over again. Section 2. Shh, it's okay, just follow the rules. James was not responding. Dark green eyes staring into one spot on the ground in front of him, mind ignoring anything that was happening around him. The feeling of numbness was an attempt to help him cope. His ears are ringing, a high-pitched squeak, seemingly permanently stuck and overwhelming for any other noise. His arms are limp and handcuffed behind his back, while his legs are stretched out on the ground. Any thought he had was jumbled up. He felt drunk on some kind of energy, unable to make out a single clear thought. Was he drugged? Or was his mind once again kicking in to save him from the trauma, knowing that he couldn't cope with whatever was happening? Images flashed in front of his eyes, things he wanted to forget. When finally he had settled down in a new and safe place, away from any abuse and hatred, fate had sent him into this trap. The panic was building up with each labored breath. The familiarity of this situation was weighing down on him too much. All the therapy sessions were flying over his head. Multiple methods of calming down wouldn't stay long enough for him to consider. Tension hung in the air. Too thick and heavy to breathe in, and James doesn't know how long it has been since the man had left. But he can still feel the warmth of his hand holding onto his chin before whispering a command. A reminder of one of the rules that he had settled for the low game. No outside contact. It was short for getting help of any kind. He was not allowed to seek out someone else to save him, even if a stranger happened to find him in the middle of the night. A command disguised as a sick game. His light and almost joyful voice hid the threat that was underlined in his words. With a sadistic grin, he was told to wait his turn, to sit like a good boy and wait for the chase to be over. James felt like he's underwater. His movements are too slow for his liking, slow and clumsy. Fingers hopefully but carefully reaching behind for his phone in his back pocket. They scraped the phone case and he's quickly clutching it in his sweaty hand, his eyes frantically searching the empty surrounding before letting his handcuffed hands reach below himself, threading through his legs, through the loop, and turning his phone on. The bright screen standing out in the full darkness, the bubbly face of his daughter staring back at him, his wife holding the 8-year-old in a tight grip in her lap, a grin sitting smugly on both of their faces. The difference between the two girls is obvious, and even though the child isn't biologically hers, the love is showing in Alex's eyes. James squints his eyes and only spares a look before ignoring it in favor of swiping to the left. Emergency call ready for his shaky hands to type in the wanted number. 3 simple clicks, and he's holding the phone to his face, letting the dark engulf his being. 1 ring, 2 ring. On the 3rd one, his hand is twisted. A sharp cry escapes his lips when his hand is pulled away from his face. Fingers are pressing into his palm's pressure points, and before he knows it, his back is pushed flat against the hard chest, with soft breath on his neck, a coarse voice breaking into the silence. A last warning. Thank you.